Every day, the financial world demands your immediate attention. An unexpected peace deal in Iran sends oil prices plummeted 5% in a morning, while a retail frenzy pushes a SpaceX IPO up 19% on day one. The modern news cycle is designed to make you feel like you are always missing out. Most investors lose their shirts trying to react to these flashes, yet a select few manage to build monumental wealth by doing the exact opposite. Financial journalist Becky has spent over 20 years at CNBC observing exactly what separates the reactors from the masters. Through her decades of interviewing Warren Buffett, she found that his actual secret is a radical kind of boredom. He has the extreme patience to read decades of SEC filings to understand a business, and the discipline to do absolutely nothing while the rest of the market panics. Filtering out the daily noise requires tools that prioritize data over headlines. You can join the deepvalues.ai community for deep value intelligence and download the Buffett Indicator iOS app to track whether the market is actually overheating. True value is never found in your first reaction. It is only revealed by identifying the signal buried deep beneath the daily noise. This chart illustrates the financial power of that patience. One path tracks the jagged, exhausting swings of short-term trading, while the other shows the steady compounding of the S&P 500. Buffett's strategy is a bet on the long-term growth of American business. Invest small amounts early and give those investments a massive runway. The difficulty is entirely psychological. You have to ignore the impulse to buy every new shiny thing today. You are sacrificing short-term dopamine for long-term security, waiting for that specific point where the curve finally breaks upward. The law of compounding interest isn't just a mechanism for wealth. It is a defensive framework designed to build a safe, unbreakable foundation for a human life. That patient framework works perfectly for a retirement account. But what happens when life requires you to apply that same mindset to a devastating personal unknown? For Becky, that test arrived with her daughter, Kaylee. At 6 months old, Kaylee began missing developmental milestones. After years of doctor visits, the family received a diagnosis of SYNGAP1, a rare genetic condition that effectively meant her brain only produced half the protein it needed. At the time, only 1,700 people on the planet were known to have it. The diagnosis brings a crushing sense of isolation. Parents watch as doctors cross out standard life milestones, college, a career, or even the ability to speak. You find yourself standing at the end of a very long, very dark hallway, trying to see any sign of a future. A black swan event forces a choice: succumb to the immediate despair of the prognosis, or apply a different kind of patience, tuning out the noise of what can't be done to build a systematic path toward what might be possible. This clustering shows the reality of rare diseases. While Kaylee's specific condition is rare, there are over 10,000 others like it. Grouped together, they represent 300 million people worldwide. The problem isn't that these people don't exist, it's that their efforts were deeply disorganized. Quick launched CNBC Cures to solve this fragmentation. The goal is to compound resources, allowing isolated communities to share data so they can stop reinventing the wheel and start building collective momentum. Science is already producing miracles like gene and ASO therapies. But moving those breakthroughs from a microscope slide to a human patient requires massive capital, regulatory navigation, and an audience of investors willing to take the long view. By organizing these scattered populations, CNBC Cures operates like a value investor. It identifies a massively ignored asset, these patient communities, and it directs the necessary attention to ensure these laboratory breakthroughs actually reach the families who need them. The mechanics of success are remarkably consistent. Whether investing in an index fund, building a career in journalism, or searching for a medical cure, you have to reject the frantic noise of the present and commit to the long runway. And along that runway, you have to remember to live. Today, Kaylee is 9. She spends her evenings diving into the pool and waiting for her family to clap, fully present in a moment that was once considered impossible. To learn more about the philosophy of deep value and long-term thinking, please subscribe to our sister channel, Deep Values, and leave a like on this video if you found it helpful. Life is precious, and your time is the most finite asset you own. Whether you are managing wealth or your own health, the most significant outcomes are built by those who simply refuse to rush the process.